I still remember the night she said it. Soft voice, trembling hands, eyes darting everywhere but at me. I just need a break to figure myself out, okay? No contact for a while. It hit like a quiet explosion. No screaming, no tears. Just that chilling calm that makes you realize it's really over. She said it like she was reciting a script she'd practiced in front of a mirror. My instinct was to ask, is there someone else? But I swallowed the words. I didn't want to hear it if the answer was yes. Instead, I nodded, pretending I was okay with it. Take the time you need, I said, trying to sound like the mature, understanding boyfriend. Inside, though, it felt like someone had pulled the plug on my chest and let everything drain out. The next morning, I woke up to silence. No good morning text, no heart emojis, no nothing. Just the echo of her words replaying. No contact. So I did exactly that. I respected her request. I didn't text. I didn't call. I didn't check her Instagram stories, even though my thumb hovered over her name more times than I'd admit. I buried myself in work, the gym, anything that filled the hours without her. But no matter how hard I tried, her ghost lingered. Her laughter in my playlists, her shampoo smell still in the bathroom, her photo framed on my desk like a haunting reminder of something beautiful that turned into uncertainty. About a week later, I got a notification. I hadn't unfollowed her, just muted everything, a form of denial wrapped in digital restraint. But her mom hadn't been muted. So when I opened Instagram and saw her mom's post tagged #family vacation, #summer memories, I froze. There she was, my girlfriend, the same girl who needed space to figure herself out, smiling, sun-kissed, standing next to her high school sweetheart. At first I thought, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe he was there as a family friend. But the photo said it all. Her mom's caption, "So glad to see these two together again after all these years." And a little heart emoji that twisted like a knife. I stared at that screen until my phone dimmed and went black. Then I locked it in my drawer. For 2 days. When I finally opened it again, there were messages from mutual friends. "Hey man, you okay? Bro, you seeing what she's posting? You deserve better." I ignored them all, because truthfully, I didn't want pity. I wanted peace. And for the first time in weeks, I understood what closure might actually look like. It wasn't her coming back to explain herself. It wasn't me demanding answers. It was silence. Cold, clean silence. So I started cleaning. I packed her things, every last hoodie, every mug, every memory she left behind. The apartment felt emptier with each box, but also lighter. Her perfume bottle, wrapped, her favorite blanket, folded, the framed photo of us from that music festival where she said she'd never love anyone else. I put it at the very bottom of the box. Then I called a courier. "Destination?" the guy asked. "Her parents' address," I said. He looked at the stack of boxes and gave a sympathetic nod. "Rough one, huh?" "Something like that," I muttered. When he left, I closed the door and stood there for a long minute. No more traces of her, no shoes by the door, no toothbrush by the sink, no hair ties on my nightstand. Just me. That night, I logged into Facebook for the first time in months. My cursor hovered over the "in a relationship" line. My chest felt tight, but I clicked edit, then single. It wasn't revenge, it was acceptance. A clean slate. Within an hour, she saw it. I knew because the typing bubbles appeared on WhatsApp, then disappeared, then appeared again. She was watching, processing. Days passed. I got used to the quiet. I stopped expecting her messages. I started cooking for one. I even went out with friends again, something I hadn't done in months without checking if she was okay with it. But you know what surprised me most? Peace. Real, honest peace. Until one evening, 3 weeks later, my phone lit up. Her name. At first I thought it was a pocket dial. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. I answered. Her voice was soft, uncertain. "Hey, hey," I said. There was silence, the kind that stretches until it becomes its own conversation. Then she sighed. "I've been thinking about you a lot." That's all I could manage. She continued. "I just needed that break, you know? to figure things out. But I think I'm ready to talk now. My thumb brushed over my jaw as I stared at the ceiling. Ready to talk? Now that her vacation was over? Now that the post with her ex had stopped? I respected your journey, I said slowly. Didn't call, didn't text, gave you exactly what you asked for. I know, she said quickly, and that's why I want to see you. I realize now, what we had was real. There was a pause before I replied. You realize that after a beach trip with your high school sweetheart? She inhaled sharply. That's not fair. Neither was lying, I cut in. Another silence, then she whispered, You saw the photos? I didn't need to. Your mom tagged you. The internet did the rest. She started explaining. Something about nostalgia, old friends, timing, emotions. It was a blur of justifications that didn't matter anymore. Because somewhere between her first sentence and her last, I realized something powerful. I didn't care. I wasn't angry. I wasn't jealous. I was done. Listen, I said finally. I hope you found whatever it was you were looking for. Wait, so that's it? After everything? After everything, yeah, that's it. She sniffled, then laughed bitterly. You've changed. Yeah, I said quietly. You told me to give you space. Turns out it gave me perspective. When I hung up, I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt freedom, the kind that comes when you stop chasing closure and start accepting reality. But I didn't know then. That wasn't the end of the story. Because a week later, she showed up at my door, suitcase in hand, eyes red, and voice trembling. That's where everything took a turn I never saw coming. She stood at my door, drenched in rain, clutching her suitcase like it was the last lifeline she had. Her hair was messy, makeup smudged, eyes swollen from crying. For a moment, I just stared at her through the glass, wondering if I was dreaming. Can we talk? She said softly, voice trembling. I didn't answer right away. My mind flashed back to every sleepless night, every second I'd stared at my phone waiting for a message that never came. I had built peace out of silence, and now she was standing there threatening to break it. Finally, I opened the door just enough to speak. You could have called. I tried, she whispered. You didn't answer. I figured we said everything that needed to be said. Her eyes filled with tears. Please, just hear me out. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Against every ounce of logic, I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, eyes scanning the apartment that no longer carried her scent, her clothes, or her chaos. The place looked different, cleaner, calmer, like it had finally taken a deep breath. I see you redecorated, she murmured, glancing around. I removed the past, I said simply. She set her suitcase down. You really shipped all my stuff to my parents' house? I nodded. Didn't want to hold on to anything that wasn't mine anymore. She bit her lip, nodding slowly, like she knew she deserved that. I didn't go on that trip to hurt you, she started. It just happened. My mom invited me and he was there and one thing led to another, I interrupted. Her silence was answer enough. I was confused, she continued, voice cracking. He was a part of my past, and I thought maybe reconnecting would help me understand myself better. But all it did was remind me what I lost with you. I leaned against the counter, arms folded. You lost me the moment you said you needed space. Everything after that was just the consequences of your choice. She looked up at me, desperation flickering in her eyes. But I didn't mean for it to be permanent. I thought we'd find our way back. You did, I said coldly. You found your way back to the wrong door. Her jaw trembled. You're really not going to forgive me, I sighed. It's not about forgiveness. It's about trust. You wanted time to figure yourself out. I gave you that time, and in that time, you showed me exactly who you are. She wiped her tears, whispering, I made a mistake. No, I said, you made a choice. The room fell silent. The sound of the rain outside was the only thing filling the space between us. Finally, she took a shaky breath. I miss you. Every part of you. The way you made me feel safe. The way you believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. No one's ever loved me like that. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not the girl I fell in love with, but the one who left me when things got hard. That's the thing, I said quietly. You don't throw away something real because you're lost. You fight for it. You talk, you try. You don't disappear and reappear when it's convenient. Her tears spilled freely now. So that's it? After everything we've been through? I shrugged. You ended it the day you said no contact. I just finally accepted it. She took a step closer. Please, can we at least start over? I shook my head. I'm not starting over with someone who only remembers my worth when she's lonely. For a moment, she just stood there staring at me with shattered eyes. Then almost in a whisper, she said, You've changed. I had to, I replied. You left me no choice. She nodded slowly, wiping her face. You're right. I don't deserve another chance. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. She grabbed her suitcase, hesitated by the door, and said one last thing. I hope you find someone who never makes you feel like you're not enough. And then she was gone. The door clicked shut, and the sound echoed louder than any argument we'd ever had. I stood there for a long time, staring at the space she used to fill. For the first time, the emptiness didn't hurt. It felt earned. In the days that followed, she texted a few times. Apologies, regrets. I just want closure, she wrote once. I never replied, because closure isn't something someone gives you. It's something you decide for yourself. Weeks turned into months. I focused on myself for real this time. Not the kind of journey she talked about, but actual growth. I started traveling, reading more, reconnecting with friends I'd neglected. I learned that solitude isn't loneliness when you know who you are in it. One afternoon, I was at a cafe when a notification popped up, a message request from her high school sweetheart. Curiosity got the better of me, so I opened it. Hey man, I think I owe you an apology, it said. She told me she was single on that trip. I had no idea. I stared at the message, a bitter smile forming. I typed back, no need, man. She told me she needed space. Guess she filled it. He didn't reply after that. And honestly, I didn't care. That night, as I sat on my balcony, city lights glowing beneath a calm sky, I realized something. Sometimes losing someone isn't a punishment. It's protection. She thought her break would help her figure herself out. But in the end, it helped me figure us out. It made me see that love without honesty is just comfort wearing a disguise. Months later, I got a message from a mutual friend. She'd moved to another city, started a new job. Apparently, she'd tried dating again, but wasn't ready. I smiled when I heard that, not out of spite, but because I truly hoped she'd find peace, just like I finally did. The funny thing is, I didn't hate her anymore. I didn't even resent her. She was just a chapter, a long, painful, necessary chapter. Because through her absence, I found presence. Through her betrayal, I found clarity. Through her silence, I found my voice. One evening, I updated my relationship status again. Not to single, not to in a relationship. Just nothing. Because I didn't need a label anymore. I wasn't defined by who I was with or who left me. A few days later, I met someone new. Not in some grand romantic way, just a stranger who asked to share my table at a crowded cafe. We talked about books, travel, and how both of us believed that sometimes the worst heartbreaks teach the best lessons. There was no rush, no games, no mass. Just honesty. And it felt right. Months later, as life slowly built itself back up around me, I realized the greatest irony of it all. She wanted to find herself, but I was the one who actually did. She lost someone who would have done anything to keep her, and I found someone I never want to lose, me. So when she called again one night, months after vanishing completely, I didn't even hesitate. I looked at her name flashing across the screen, smiled softly, and let it ring out. Some stories don't need an ending. They just need a lesson. And mine was simple. When someone says they need space, give it to them. Completely. Because sometimes that space is exactly where you'll find yourself again.